Yo, what up, boys? Welcome to the stream. We're just going to do a quick 20-minute or so stream before the night. This is pretty much my deadline stream now. So if you boys want to get your questions in, that would be great. We're going to pull up Sofa as well, so we can look at some Opta statistics in a moment and look at some heat maps. But this is currently how the team's set up, so we'll see. But yeah, no. This is what we're currently rolling with. We're currently just rolling with this. To be honest with you, I've changed the wildcard up just last minute. I kind of just decided, do you know what? Frick it. I don't know if there's a buzzing noise. By the way, boys, is there a buzzing noise in the background or is it just me? Because if there is a buzzing noise, then that's a bit annoying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a layered disturbance, isn't there? Right, hold on. Can you boys still hear me? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's have a look. Hold on. I'm going to try and fix this quick. It's not that. I don't see why the hell it's playing up. Hold on. Right, hold on. Yeah, I don't know why there's a loud buzzing noise. Let's see if that's playing it better. Yeah, I know. I don't know, to be honest with you. It hasn't done that once today, Pratik. I've been streaming like 3 times today. It just decides to do it out of the blue sometimes, and it's a bit annoying. I do need to sort the problem out with OBS, but it shouldn't be as bad now. Let me just try. Is it? Yeah, it sounds to me like it's chilled out a bit. Does it sound lower? Yeah, it's better. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, I could go through and fix it completely, but it's going to take longer than it's worth. It might just be something to do with OBS. As long as it's low to the point where it's not really affecting my voice tone and you can hear me clearly and it's not annoying, then we should be okay. Right, what was I going to go on? Right, I'll show you the reason now why I've gone for Brighton midfielders. This is what I was going to go on about. We pull up Solly March first, and we pull up the heat maps. This is Solly March's current attacking output. So, he's got a creativity rating of 79, an attacking rating of 64, and so on. But if you go down to here, he's created 12 big chances, key passes at 1.6 a game, 56.4 touches on average a game. He's 1.6 tackles run per game. You know, chances per game, disabled pass per game, possession 1, you know, successful dribble weight, groundals, run aerials. He's a very good pick. And as much as I want, and that's what, you know, I really want to have McAllister and Matoma because those are my favourites. But then I was like, I'm gonna want March as well. And is it really? I think Chilwell could. As much as I was overlooking Chelsea assets, the reason I was overlooking Chilwell is because I was thinking about injuries. But I thought, Chilwell, I'm gonna have to wing something at some point. So I've gone Chilwell instead of a Stupinan and gone March instead of Saka. And hey, let's just hope it pays off. This is Matoma's current attacking, creativity and so on output. Obviously, expected goals is 2.99. Goals per game is 0.3. Shots per game 1.1. Shots on target 0.7. Goal conversion rate 30%. But It's just those big chance created alright as well. But you can clearly tell that that March has got the best underlying stats. Are you still there, Patik? McAllister. McAllister. Jesus, keyboard. Right, if I sell Haaland to Kane, I will bring Haaland back in 30 probably. I could bring him back in 29, but I'll probably bring him back in 30. And obviously, if you look at the heat maps here, look. Big chance created are 2. Key passes are right, accurate per game. But like, it's just his goals are higher up just generally because he's on penalties. So it seems stupid not to have McAllister. The reason, I'll show you why I went for this wildcard critique. It allows me that much money in the bank. So the reason really behind me doing this was it's allowed me to plan all my transfers all the way up to 38 for that last week. The punts I'm going to take in 38, the double plays I'll bring in, when they're going to happen. Yes. If I got rid of Haaland to Kane, I'd bring Haaland back in for Kane, yes. But I'd do that 30 if I got rid of Haaland to Kane. As I prefer Kane versus Everton to Haaland versus Liverpool. And considering I've got Salah, that means I can just hope for a Haaland blank. And then hope Salah just plays really well versus City. Which gives me a little bit more indication to cheer things. Obviously, Watkins is benched this week. It wasn't the plan, but when I decided to go for the triple up on Brighton midfield, I decided, yeah, we'll go Watkins. It is nice, obviously, but it cost me 0.3 to get Haaland back in, which would still allow me to be able to go the likes of McAllister to Bruno Fernandes. And obviously keep March and Matoma, or go Matoma to Bruno Fernandes on a week, if I do fancy getting them out. Which is quite nice. I mean, I wouldn't have to have triple Brighton in game week 29 if I didn't want triple Brighton in game week 29. Or I'd be able to go into a Trent Alexander-Arnold from either the likes of Henry, because Henry's double in 29 is not phenomenal. So I could go into the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold if I felt like going for a punt. So it allows quite a few options for me. And the money allows me to have freed up space to be able to make these transfers and make these moves. Obviously, the only reason I've held off selling Haaland to Kane this week is I was just waiting to see what the weather was like, the snow, possible postponements, so on. But as far as I'm aware, everything's fine, nothing's going to get postponed. I wouldn't worry about any games this weekend whatsoever, because the snow is fully cleared. There's not a drop of snow outside really now by me, whatsoever really. There's some on the fields, but that normally sticks a lot, and the football fields are fine because it's all been cleared, and the whole way to Ellen Road and Leeds and Brighton and whatnot is all clear and be fine, so I wouldn't be stressing anyone about those games too much, to be honest with you. What's second may also haul? That is the only thing I have got. No, Arsenal. Now every manager who takes this game seriously has Arsenal. What do I not have? Arsenal. But it was either the case of going without Tony or going without Saka. And I think the only option was to go without Saka. And considering I've got March over Saka and March doubles, March plays 4 weeks respectively in the next 3 game weeks. He plays 4 times. Saka plays 3. March plays 2 this week, better expected, better fixtures, more goals. Saka might blank. Saka plays next week, gets a goal, not a big deal, because then March has 2 fixtures and Bournemouth to go and bag even more goals. So, statistically speaking, March for me is a better pick than Saka. Saka could affect me a tiny bit, but then the upside of March and McAllister rank-wise, because of how low owned they are, is a massive upside. So, I don't really think it's a bad thing. It was either get rid of Rashford or get rid of Saka. And for me, I'd rather keep Rashford. 1, as a United fan. 2, he's got Southampton. I love his double in 29, because I know it's Brentford and that, but I feel he can get really big goals in that game. So I'm really not worried. By the way, you definitely did get Andreas out because he was close to under a prize fall at the moment. McAllister's going up in price. Gakpo, Van Dijk, Martinelli's going up in price. Reyes should go up in price. March will go up in price. Matoma will go up in price. What do I plan to do with the money in the bank? So, the whole plan with the money, if you don't mind me pulling up my FPL team, I'm going to have to put all my team back in, but It shouldn't take me too long to put my team back in. If I pull this up and put my team back in, I'll show you the current planned moves. This gives me a more in-depth look and more being able to tell you what's going on. So, let me just click the wildcard on here. Right, so I'll put my exact team in. This shouldn't take me too long. So we got Henry. And if you want to put in some questions while I'm filling this team in, it'll probably make it go quicker. And we've got Chilwell. This team's actually predicted I think another 5 or so more points than my other one. And I do prefer, obviously, the triple up in the Brighton mid, so I don't mind that whatsoever. Cash. Botman. But yeah, no, I'm going to show you right now what I'm going to do with the money. Let me just put all the team in the way I'm going to have it. McAllister. Let's just bring everyone in first, and then we'll sort the team out. Matoma. Tony. And Watkins. So that'll be the current team, and if we just switch everything into play the way we want it. So the predicted points for this week with Tony captaining and playing Trippier instead of Matty Cash. And what else was I needed to do? Oh yeah, it's predicted more with Haaland. It's predicted 98 with Kane, 100 with Haaland. So it's definitely a tight one. But then Haaland's only predicted 44 whatnot. If I play these, let's just show you how each week plans out. And I'll go through quickly what I'm going to do with the money. So if I had Kane, this essentially will be my next week's team with probably Kane captain. It would have been predicted 4 points less than before, obviously, because I've not got that defender the way I had it, but I'm okay with that. And to be honest with you, I think there's a lot more goals for Ollie Watkins than people think. A great clean sheet and assist for Cash. There's 2 clean sheets there, 2 clean sheets there, clean sheet there. You know, I don't mind that team at all. And then coming into game week 29 fixture, I will probably hold the transfer, because I don't feel any need to go into anyone. Unless, obviously, I decide I'm going to go one of these players into. So maybe I'll go Henry into Reece James. That's a possibility. But most likely, I'm just going to keep Henry. And then go into 30. Oh yeah, this is what my bench boost looks like, by the way. This is what my bench boost looks like. If you're still there, Pratik, this is what my bench boost is currently looking like for game week 29. I'm predicted 136 points. I've got Rashford captain. And that team is pretty solid if you ask me. Chilwell's attacking threat could easily return an assist versus Villa. I expect Cash, that's why I prefer Cash to Mings, because he can return versus the likes of Chelsea with attacking threat. He's great for 28 for Bournemouth. 5-2-3 is allowed as a formation question. Yeah, 5-2-3 is allowed as a formation. Why didn't you know that? You can have 5-3-2 as well. You can have all of them as long as you've got minimum of 2 of each player. Except for defenders, you have to have minimum 3 defenders. But yeah, no. You can have 2 midfielders, 2 strikers, but you have to have a minimum of 3 defenders no matter which formation you play. That is the only downfall. I'll probably just keep that the way it is. And then this week is obviously game week 30. The plan for game week 30 would most likely either be... Well, first of all, let's fix the team up. I'm not going to be playing you. I'm going to probably be playing McAllister over Trippier. And I'll probably be selling Henry this week to someone. I'll probably just bring in an Arsenal player, even though they've got Liverpool, as stupid as it sounds. Mind you, we've got Everton. So I might just bring Luke Shaw in, because then we've got Nottingham Forest. Then we play Chelsea, but then we're playing Tottenham. But I don't mind Luke Shaw, considering we'll have Everton. So I bought Shaw in for that week. Then, essentially, I'll have Shaw for that week. That team's predicted... Sorry, I need to bring Haaland back in as well. Haaland will be my second transfer. Haaland will be captain. I'm predicted 61. And then going into game week 31, I will bring in Chilwell off against Brighton. Play Trippier instead of Cash. Captain Haaland again. I don't mind Watkins versus... I don't really want to play Watkins versus Newcastle actually, so I'll probably go for a triple up on Brighton assets versus Chelsea. Or just play Watkins. In this week, I've got one transfer. So this will probably be the week where I decide to just go cash out, bring in Zinchenko. Zinchenko plays West Ham. Bench one player, or double up on Newcastle defence and not play Ollie Watkins. I do think Ollie Watkins' attacking threat's there, and so's Trippier, so I wouldn't really want to be benching Watkins. And then we come to game week 32. This is where Watkins goes and Danny Ings comes in. The reason behind this is Ings has Bournemouth game week 32, which is generally the reason why I will be bringing him in. Because I just think Ings versus Bournemouth 32 is not really a bad fixture. Obviously, Matoma and McAllister, considering I've got no City defenders, I don't mind playing them. And I wouldn't put it past them to play good versus City, to be honest, so I'm not worried about that. I've got Trubby versus Tottenham, I don't own any Tottenham assets. I've got Aston Villa for Tony and Raya. Rashford in midfield, Salah. This is one of those, like, 32 is not really a great week. 32 is just a mediocre week, as it will be for everyone. This week, I will captain Salah versus Nottingham Forest, because I prefer Salah to Haaland versus Brighton. Game week 33, I'll probably captain either Salah or Matoma, possibly. And then I've got one transfer this week. So this week, the plan would probably be to go and get rid of McAllister at some point. Probably next week, actually. We'll keep him for the Forest fixtures. And we'll bench Danny Ings, obviously, for Liverpool. And then we'll play probably over. And then we'll play Ward over Raya because he's got Chelsea, sorry. We won't play Chilwell because then we're maximising that clean sheet potential with them. Obviously, sure, I don't mind playing versus Tottenham, neither do I Rashford. I've got 3 people who've got Nottingham Forest, which is great. Tony's not bad, he's on pens, Haaland's on pens, and obviously Salah captain. So that's not a bad week either. And then going into 34, which is a double game week, and Brighton double again. I've essentially got Ings who doubles, which Ings would probably go in for, I'd say, I think Salah doubles 34, doesn't he? But then Rashford's got Villa, so probably do that. And that's predicted 111 points. And to be honest, I think I'd be okay with benching Salah if Tony doubles. If Tony doesn't double, then I might just play Salah versus Tottenham, to be honest. And my captain that week will probably just be on the usual Haaland. I might take a punt. I might take a punt on... Hello, boys. How are you all doing tonight? I might take a punt on captaining Danny Ings that week. Or, in fact, actually, no. Matoma and March double, so I'll probably captain Solly March that week. Which is 112 predicted. Then going into game week 35, because obviously I had 2 transfers last week, so technically I could go into another double up, but there's not really anyone I'd get rid of. I'm quite pleased with that team. And then going into 35, we're kind of getting a bit iffy with the team. So this is probably the likes of where I'd probably go into Reece James to Botman. double up on Chelsea assets. I've got Ings for Man United. So Ings will probably or Tony will go down to someone. I'll obviously bench Danny Ings for Salah. I will go Ivan Toney into Brennan Johnson, as Brennan Johnson has Southampton, which frees up 4.5 million in the bank. And then game week 36, if I can afford it. I don't think I can though. No. So we'll keep Danny Ings. Or we'll actually opt to go Danny Ings to Darwin Núñez. And then we'll play Núñez ahead of probably, I'd say, Matoma, March, and McAllister. So probably March, as Matoma's good, McAllister's on pens. And then I'd probably play Trippier over and play Raya because they play West Ham. And then I actually would be playing Brennan Johnson versus... Will I be playing Brennan Johnson versus Chelsea? No. So I'll be playing essentially that lineup with double fixtures for Chelsea versus Forest, which is nice. I've got Raya still, Trippier, Shaw. I don't mind playing McAllister, Matoma. Zinchenko's on the bench. Zinchenko is technically playable over one of these, but it's not something I'd do. And that's probably the run I'll run then for game week 36, which predicted 60 points. And then coming into game week 37, this is where I'll start taking some risks and start playing off the good picks. So this probably likes where you'll go in. I'll bench Chilwell, obviously. And this is why the Brighton assets are so good. Obviously, I've got Aston Villa, Bournemouth there. So this is probably the week where I'll hand Rashford the captaincy or Salah the captaincy. And then, considering the fact I've got 2 mil in the bank, I'll probably do Reece James to Alexander-Arnold. I'll play Alexander-Arnold over Trippier for the triple Liverpool. Because this is where I'll start taking points, because this is game week 37. Then going into game week 38, Liverpool have got a triple of Southampton. So this is where I'd go and opt to captain Salah. I've got triple these lot for this. But I'll probably bench March, Matoma, or one of them for Brennan Johnson, as I think Brennan Johnson's fixtures are a really nice fixture. I've got Ward, who will play West Ham. But because I've got the free transfer anyway, I'll sell Ward and bring in Keylor Navas on the last week for Forest, because he's got Crystal Palace. And obviously I've still got Brennan Johnson as well. So I think that is literally the way I'd run the team, because I'm predicting some very good points. And obviously I'm probably predicted more playing March, but I just think Brennan Johnson's quite a good pick, and he's on Forest's penalties as well. But that will depend. If Forest aren't at home, then I'll play Solly March. And I think that's quite a good team. I know I'm not really bringing any Arsenal back in, but I just think triple up then of Liverpool versus Southampton as well. And obviously I bought Arnold in game week 37, so essentially I've got him. I haven't got him this week. They've got the double versus Forest, but then I've got him straight away the week after. Obviously this is a situation where I could do the likes of, if I don't want to bring in Arnold in, I could do the likes of Matoma, Odegaard, but it's probably not something I'd opt for. And I think that's just a really nice, great lineup for 38. Obviously 37, I've got to play Raya, which to be honest I'm not really too fussed. Forest have Arsenal, so it's not really one that's a big decision debate. Obviously, because I have Zinchenko anyway, I will have Arsenal players towards the end of the season. I'm just missing out on Saka's and obviously Jesus. Jesus would be an option to consider, but for me, this is probably the route I'll take, and you'll probably find it'll be my last game week team, as it's a similar route to what I'll take, because I think then having that double up, even on James and Chilwell for a couple of weeks, and then bringing Arnold back in. But this is assuming like the way I don't have certain injuries and have to take different routes. There might be a couple of hits there and here and there in before the end of the season. But as long as I'm technically finishing the way I want my players to finish, I'll be quite happy with that. Hey Fabio. I was just running through, literally. You know, I told you I had a plan all the way from game week 27. Well, watch this. I make 9 transfers from game week 27, right? So this is my team for game week 27. 98 points, projected points. 28, sorry. 46 point projected points, and I've got Kane captain, might be Watkins. I do fancy Watkins. Going into game week 29, I'm predicted 136 points on my bench boost with Rashford captain. Could be Salah. Really depends on Salah's form. I want to see if he plays really well again. Chilwell, obviously, decent fixtures. You know, not bad fixtures for anyone. Then going into 30, I've got 61 predicted points. And I've bought in Luke Shaw and bought in Haaland back in for Kane and done Henry to Luke Shaw. So that's my game week 30 team. And then come game week... This is why free Brighton, by the way, Fabio, was such a good move for me. Because then coming to game week 31, I've got 2.8 in the bank. I've made 1 transfer, which is brought in Alexander Zinchenko for Botman. Not Botman, sorry, for Matty Cash. I think it's Matty Cash anyway, I bought him out for, yeah, Matty Cash. And obviously I'm playing Trippier and Watkins because I just feel I can play both of them for that week. And the captaincy will be between Rashford, Haaland. I'll probably be more tempted to captain Rashford, but Haaland has got Leicester. Obviously Wolves is great fixtures for Ray and Tony. Chilwell on the bench, bottom of the bench, March on the bench, could be McAllister on the bench. And that's 69 points. Then going into 36, this is where I've made a big move and I've done Watkins down to Danny Ings, which Danny Ings has Bournemouth. The reason I have Danny Ings is because Danny Ings doubles in 34, so he is someone I want to have. So Danny Ings has got Bournemouth, nice little cheeky punt, and I'm predicted only 36 points that week. But it's worth it because say I think there's a clean sheet, you know, possible points here. Salah probably get a 20-point haul, which will boost my whole thing up. Tony's got pens, Haaland will be alright, and then Ings has got Bournemouth, so I think that's really a terrible predicted points. I think I'll get at least 55 that week. And then game week 33, I've still got my transfer. Ings is benched, Ward's playing over Kepa, I've got Shaw, Botman, Trippier playing the back, triple Brighton versus Forest, and I've got Haaland captain, it will probably be Mo Salah. And it's a nice little lineup. And then game week 34, obviously I've got some great lineups. I don't know why Ward's in. I got Raya in for that. And obviously I benched Salah just because I've got triple Brighton for Wolves, which could be menacing, or I'll probably bench one and play Salah. I've got those decisions. Obviously 34 he doubles. All Brighton players double actually, that's why I've kept them in. Raya double, don't know if he doubles yet. Haaland should be doubling. Actually Rashford should be doubling 34 as well, there's a possibility. So there's 112 points. 57 this week, this is where I've gone and bought a Botman. And I've gone to opt for bringing in Reece James. And I've done Ivan Toney to Brennan Johnson. The reason I've brought in Brennan Johnson for Ivan Toney is because he has Southampton. And obviously Shaw has got West Ham. Raya will play ahead of Ward will play ahead of Raya versus Fulham. Triple up on them for Everton. I have got the option to play Ings if I want to take a punt, but obviously I've got Shaw, so, and I've also got the option to play Zinchenko for one of the midfielders if I feel that is the better option. But I do think Chilwell and James versus Bournemouth is a great double up for that week. Then going into 36, I've actually benched Johnson. I don't know why Salah's on the bench. March will be benched, or someone like that. And obviously I've got Darwin Núñez, who has come in for Danny Ings. And obviously I've got Darwin Núñez, Salah, Shaw, Rashford. There's a really good double ups. Everton not for Haaland. I do fancy 2 Brighton midfielders versus Arsenal. Double up in the Chelsea. Raya will come in for Ward. Trippier plays, and it will be the case of me captaining Haaland versus Everton, or Southampton, or Salah versus Leicester. And then going into game 37, I have gone Reece James to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then the rest of the team is the exact same, pretty much. Haven't changed anything really. See, bench Trippier versus Leicester because I think Zinchenko versus Forest is better. I've got triple up for Villa. I think Salah, Darwin Núñez performed really well. Triple up on the Southampton. I can opt to play, obviously, Trippier for one of those if I do feel that is better, instead of risking the triple up on Brighton. Or I could opt to bench Zinchenko if I feel like it, and then play Brennan Johnson over Solly March. Those are also options. And then game 38, so last week, I've made one transfer. I've done Ward to Navas. And then I've got Arnold, Salah, Darwin. Salah will be my captain. I don't know why he keeps doing that. And then I've got, obviously March has got Aston Villa, but I'm not going to play him because Southampton's better Fulham. So it'll be over March and McAllister start. I've got Brennan Johnson versus Crystal Palace. Southampton for Darwin Núñez. Southampton for Arnold. Nelson goal with Crystal Palace. I like that fixture. And I think that's a really good all-round team. And I think for me, this allows me to at least accumulate, I'd say, 1,100 points over the last 11 weeks. As daft as that sounds, not 1,100 points, but yeah. Why did I say 1,100 for? I'm thinking of the 110 point week. I was meant to say 811 points over the next 11 weeks. God, I got my words mixed up then. Which would put me to my calculations to at least the top 50 or top 10k, depending on how the points go. And I do think, yeah, thanks for that. Brennan Johnson is a good shout. I think Brennan Johnson is a good shout. It's just with how low owned he is as well. It really is just how low owned he is at 2.5%. I just don't think it's a bad shout. March will probably play over whoever's performing best out of these three will play. Obviously, if one of them gets injured or someone gets injured, this could obviously make me take a -4 at some point in the season. But to be honest, I don't mind taking a -4, and if I don't need to end up taking a -4 going into last week, then I won't. So there's always benefits that come with it, even if injuries happen. So I'm quite happy with this team and not really concerned with it. And I think I'm at the point with it where I'm very happy. And I think that's why I'm quite happy with going triple Brighton, as I just think it's the best option. Which is why having this 4.9 in the bank is amazing. I've got an amazing little lineup for tomorrow. Ignore whatever time it says on here, the deadline is 11. My clock's just 2 hours in front on the PC for some reason. But no, that lineup for me tomorrow and Sunday and obviously next week is ridiculous. I'm just hoping we don't get no snow midweek next week that puts fixtures off, because that would just be horrible. But that's what I was trying to say to you, Fabio, because I'm quite sure you've got a very similar team value to me. So maybe you won't be able to get Reece, obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold, but you might be able to get Joe Gomez because he'll be fit. So it is a pretty good one. You don't even like yourself, Pratik, so I don't know what you're telling other people to like. At least I don't think you have. Oh no, you have. Okay, sorry, mine hasn't updated. Apologies. But no, yeah, no. I'm quite happy with the team. Obviously, it was a last minute decision. Obviously, because I had a Stupin instead of Chilwell and Saka instead of March, so it was a last minute decision. I am going to do Haaland to Kane. I have to do it just before the deadline, because I'll be giving myself headaches over it tonight, ifing and biffing, and end up losing myself money. So I think for me, I'm just going to do it tomorrow morning, get it out of the way, 2 minutes before deadline, put my phone down and just suck it up with Kane and just deal with it, because I know it's the better choice in my head, but my gut's just telling me Haaland's going to punish me, but I'm not dealing with it. I'm just going to bring Kane in no matter what. And I'll bring him in 2 minutes before the deadline. Like I said, shut my phone off, can't get it back on quick enough, and I'll deal with it. Force myself into a decision, because I know it will benefit me. But my head's just, sorry, not my head, my gut's just not letting me do it right now. But I'm going to bring Kane in. I just think it would be stupid for me not to bring Kane in. Fabio's got more balls than me at the minute. He's brought Kane in. I've just not had the balls to do it. I did say it was going to be a quick one, boys. So we're going to whiz off in like next 5 minutes. So if everyone wants to get their questions in, that would be great. Anyone got any questions? Because I won't be here tomorrow morning to answer any questions on a deadline stream. So anyone wants to make transfers, anything, sort of team out, just put your questions in the chat now, because that would be great. Hence, because I won't be able to do this in the morning. So anyone wants to get their questions in, or any picks or anything you want me to answer, just get them in now. That'd be great. Any captaincies as well. My recommended captain for this week, though, is Ivan Toney. I was considering March as well myself, but I just think Ivan Toney is the template pick. And I think even if March in that haul, I'm going to gain rank anyway. And because Ivan Toney, everyone will captain him, basically. If I don't captain him in the hauls, and then March or Matoma or McAllister, who I do captain, don't, I'm in the crap and I'm losing loads of rank. So I'm definitely capping Toney. Just McAllister March, which is very hard to answer. Just McAllister or March. To be honest with you, McAllister's on pens, March has better underlying numbers, and March has better stats. It's just whether you think Brighton will get a penalty in those 2 games, or you don't think Brighton will get a penalty in those 2 games. And McAllister is playing a nice number 10 role, but March is the most effective player in that team, and he's the most creative player in that team. I just think going away from McAllister seems like to hurt myself. I just don't really think it's worth having a Stupinan, Fabio, because I think they'll keep 1 clean sheet out of those 2, where each of these players I guarantee will get 1 goal each in those 2 games. So it's a better return. March, McAllister, Matoma are better long term because they're double. Brentford, they're not going to keep a clean sheet, but then they'll get a clean sheet versus Bournemouth, I get it, but then they'll hammer Bournemouth at least 4-0. So there's even more returns for March, McAllister, Matoma. So I think that's even better. And obviously you could even transfer 1 out with the money to another player who doubles in that week if you're not confident with 3 as well, which is even better. And obviously with 31, they've got the likes of, I think, Newcastle and Man United. Not Man United. Yeah, is it Newcastle and Man United? Man United don't double. We don't double 31, but I think Brighton's got also Newcastle 31. Or something like that, which you're not going to want defenders for, but you're going to want 3 midfielders that they double up in that week. Do you know what I mean? So it just seems like a no-brainer for triple Brighton midfield. And because not a lot of people are doing it, it just makes me want to do it more, because my gut and my inkling and my planning just tells me it's the best decision. And I think if I get hurt a little bit on points by a Stupinan, let's say 2 points more than one of my midfielders this week, well then I'm getting an extra 12, 15 points in the long run with the 31 and the 34 doubles of 3 Brighton midfielders. I do prefer 3 Brighton midfielders for that physical reason, because I just feel it's a lot hard. It's a very hard one. But just long term, I trust 3 Brighton midfielders more than I do 2 Brighton midfielders in a Brighton defender. And the Stupinans could pick up injuries very easily. He's quite known to pick up injuries. He plays 60 to 70 minutes a game. He's not guaranteed that full 90. So I understand, obviously, because they're born in 29, fair enough. I don't disagree with Stupinan. I think Stupinan's a great pick. I just don't think he's a better pick than having the likes of March over him, for example. And Chilwell's just as good of a pick for this week, if you ask me, because he'll keep 1 clean sheet versus Leicester, possibly get an attack in return, might even outscore a Stupinan, and then I've still got McAllister, March and Matoma. Obviously, Salah, I've kept him, because obviously I had him last week when everyone was wildcarding. I didn't wildcard this week, so that worked out very well with that 21 pointer. Pretty much saved my week, even though I got a red arrow by like 20k, but it wasn't a massive red arrow, so it was okay. And obviously Rashford's been my bread and butter, Tony's captain, Haaland will go to Kane before the deadline. I'm telling you all now, there's a very slim chance I don't sell Haaland to Kane before the deadline. If I don't, I've just chickened out of it and playing mind games with myself, so I probably will bring Kane in for Haaland. And obviously Tony's captain, and so on. We are going to head off and watch the football now though, boys, within the next couple of minutes, so everyone wants to get their questions in. Like I said, we've waited around because we've had more questions. Obviously, if people start getting more questions in, I'll stay longer to answer more questions. So, if you want to get your questions in, we will just quickly whiz back through the FPL transfer plan. We're going to quickly run back through it just to show you boys what the teams will look like. So this is my team 27, predicted 98 points. Nothing really mad, great little wild card. Game week 28, predicted 46 points. The bench blank, so it's irrelevant. And then game week 29, I'm predicted 136 points for my bench boost. See you, Fabio. And then game week 30, I'm predicted 61. I've made 2 transfers. I've bought in Shaw, and I have bought in. Is that it? Oh yeah, I bought Haaland back in the Kane, and obviously Haaland will be captain. Game week 31, I've made 1 transfer to bring Zinchenko in and Matty Cash out. Game week 32, we have bought Danny Ings in and bought Watkins out. This could be Tony, depending on how things go. Game week 33, we've made 0 transfers, and this is the team. Great lineup, quite happy with it. I expect good game week, and obviously Salah will be the captain's armband. Game week 34, we're going into a 112 point week. This is obviously a double week for Brighton, so March will probably be getting my captain, and that will be a 112 point week. Salah's on the bench just because triple Brighton for a double week, he's just OP. Ings has got a double week, Haaland will have a double week as well actually, so probably will be Haaland. And obviously Tony has got Forest, so Rashford's got Villa as well. No brainers there, all around. 64 this week, I bought James in and I have bought Botman out. Happy with that team. Probably will edge for possibly playing Zinchenko over one of these, just so I don't have to rely on 3 Brighton midfielders. Game week 36, I've got Raya, Trippier, James, Chilwell, Shaw, McAllister, Matoma, Salah, Rashford, Darwin and Haaland. Darwin has come in for Danny Ings. Brennan Johnson has come in last week, as you saw, for Ivan Toney, which was a transfer last week. Obviously James is there for that week, and it's quite a good week. Haaland captain, probably will be Salah captain, but we'll get to the captains in the weeks. And then this week we bought Trent Alexander-Arnold in for James. We have benched Zinchenko versus Forest, as daft as it sounds. And we will be playing Solly March over Brennan Johnson, or take a punt on Johnson versus Arsenal. Game week 38, I bought in Navas for Ward, and I'm playing Navas, Arnold, Salah, Trippier, Shaw, Matoma, March, Rashford, McAllister, Darwin and Haaland. One of these will be benched. It'll probably be McAllister, because I don't see him getting really a penalty in that game. And then we're going to bench Trippier for Zinchenko, obviously. And then I will hand the captain's armband to Mo Salah. And that will be the way we end it. There is a buzzing noise, I know. Well, you missed a Stupinan. No, I'm not worried about missing a Stupinan. I will be fixing that noise. It's not happened today, so I will look into the OBS and make sure it happens. What a day. Yeah, I know, Slay. What a day. We are going to head off soon. We're just quickly going through the transfer plans. This is the current team, and this is what we're looking at. Haaland will get to Kane. But yeah, no. Slay, I will speak to you on Discord and sort things out with you right after this. We are going to end that here, boys, so I'm going to go watch the Blackburn versus Stoke game. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your night and a great deadline tomorrow. This is my locked-in team. I will warn you, the only thing that will change on this team now is Haaland to Kane, and that is it. So I don't want anyone telling me, oh, that was your full locked-in team and whatnot. It's called FPL Team. You can plan your team out, look at your predicted points for the whole thing, plan your transfers out for the whole season. It's free. You can get the app on your phone. And I'd also be using, if you boys want some tips as well, I would also be using SofaScore, because it gives you all heat maps, attacking, minutes played, contributions and big attacking returns and so on. But yeah, no, I'll see you boys later. Peace, and I will see you boys on a late Saturday night stream after the games, or we will do a 3 o'clock stream.